Today we're gonna paint Berin the dwarf from Zombicide Green Horde.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible to each and every individual's mind, connected to the great mind, the great spirit.
Welcome back to the channel, collectors. So today we're gonna paint Berin the dwarf from Zombicide Green Horde. I've been doing this painted in 90-minute challenges and hope you can join me too. So if you're ready, let us begin. Alright, welcome back to yet another painting tutorial. Rather this 90-minute painting challenge. Today we'll be painting Berin from Zombicide Green Horde. So Berin is a very interestingly sculpted character because there are a lot of materials on the miniature which allows you to showcase your knowledge and ability to paint. In addition to this, Berin is also very cutely sculpted because he is generally a sphere, and if you highlight him as a sphere, you generally won't go wrong. Alright, because of his short and stout nature, that's what we're going to improve. I'm placing in the initial highlights as if he was an entire sphere. So as you guys can see, the main highlights were done as if he was a sphere, focusing on lighting from the top right corner. This is a very important thing because I find that many miniature painters, when they paint, what they try to do is they try to highlight every single volume, they try to highlight every single material, and what happens then is that every single shape and volume is given the same importance, and what happens from there is that you get a very weirdly elated miniature because the roundness of the shoulder and the roundness of the belly versus the roundness of a shoe should not be highlighted in the same way, because the atmospheric light and the main light do not interact the same way on the shoulder as with on the shoe. So why would you be highlighting it the same way? It's one of the questions I always ask when people show me miniatures, and I approach light placement with logic. Yeah, if logically it makes sense, then by all means go ahead. I guess that light placement is sound. However, yeah, I think this is no fault of Games Workshop, but I think many people initially start off painting miniatures with Games Workshop models, and when they paint models with when they initially start off with Games Workshop models, the effect would be that you would naturally want to paint a miniature using the Games Workshop Aviar Metal style, which is not wrong at all. The main challenge is that the Aviar Metal Games Workshop style does not educate the viewer about the forms and shapes. The highlights done on the lower parts of the miniature are the same as the highlights that would be done on the top of the miniature. Of course, Games Workshop is a model company, and their job in painting it this way is to sell more models, which is an excellent way, because the Aviar Metal style really helps to showcase every single detail and every single amazing facet of the miniature, which is very important to the Games Workshop style. However, if we do paint it that way, what's going to happen is that the toes will have the same importance as the shoulders, and sometimes it might not look as realistic as possible. But I mean, if you like painting in that style, this is no fault of yours, or is it bad at all? It's more about preference. And for me, I like to paint miniatures with more realism and with more logic. So this is why I'm painting it this way. So anyway, back to Berin. As you guys can see, as mentioned just now, I'm painting him just like a sphere. And what you can see right here is I'm working on the highest highlights, which directly involve his face, directly involve his wolf cloak at the back. So I try to limit the colors a lot also. I try to have probably one saturated color. So in this case would be the red oxide, which is his beard. The rest of the miniature will be made mostly of these saturated colors, so that the attention isn't taken away from the focal point of the miniature, which is, in my opinion, the face. So at the time of this voiceover recording, it was probably 2 weeks after painting this Berin, and I would say that the non-metallic metal style 2 weeks ago is pretty different from how I would paint non-metallic metal now, which is one other reason why I encourage everybody to paint consistently, because the more you paint, the more you will understand about yourself. And when you understand more about yourself, what happens is that you will gradually paint very differently, because you understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And in that process, you become a better miniature painter. I find that because I painted a lot more than I normally did during this lockdown / circuit breaker period, it really made me a much stronger painter, and I really appreciate it. So I'm applying a lot of my knowledge, which I'm sharing in my videos: part separation, readability, color composition, all concepts which I have covered in my past videos, which you guys, I hope, will check out. Because what I hope is that all of us get to become better miniature painters together. So right here, I'm finishing up my realistic non-metallic metal gold. If you would like to learn how I paint this in detail, I have made a video in the past about the recipes about painting realistic non-metallic metal gold. However, in my opinion, recipes are not that important at all. If you would like the recipe, yes, it's definitely a shortcut, but it's most important. I recommend that you try to understand why the recipe is used and learn to apply it, and only then you will achieve greater results with the recipe. Many painters list the recipe which allows everybody to paint similarly pretty quickly, but I like to focus on the rationale and principle behind the colors being used. So if you're watching till here, I thank you. And if you would like to support the channel further, please head on to our Patreon. Keeps us alive and puts food on my table. As you can see right now, what I'm doing is that I'm placing in the warm atmospheric light coming from the bottom left of the miniature. This is aligned to the rest of my heroes painted for the Zombicide Green Horde series, so that all of them look aligned together. Alright? So just redefining some of the volumes so that the entire thing is readable. Not much time left, adding some embers. And we'll be looking at the final result in just a little bit. And this is the final result of Berin. As you guys can see, I'm pretty happy with what he is. And always remember, highlight the volumes rather than the individual shapes. I really like how Berin turned out because his form is kind of like a sphere and it's kind of cute. So it makes lighting the miniature a lot easier. Do you like the effect? Let me know in the comments below. You guys know the drill, like, subscribe and all the other stuff. And if you can afford it, become a patron today. Patrons get exclusive videos and you guys get to interact with me so that we get to become better miniature painters together. Alright, I'd like to thank my patrons for allowing me to do this, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you!